Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I just want to make sure everything is set up properly. And when you join, please let me know that you can hear me. Okay. Hopefully everyone can hear me when you get in to the chat. When you join, please let me know that you can hear me. There we go. Let's get that double conversation. All right, here we are. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday. Even though I haven't really been having a whole lot of wine, I do have a little tonight. So many things happening. Hi, Butterfly Effect, welcome. Thank you for that. We're on the other side of the camera and we're just talking, so I just want to make sure you can hear me. Welcome, CMSG, all the way from Oklahoma. Thank you for joining us, or me tonight. I don't have a guest tonight. I'm going to just freely discuss my topic, just things that I think are important to talk about. And this topic in particular comes up a lot in our group conversation. Hi, Jetta, how are you? Welcome to all of you. So before we get into all the things, I will trendy catchphrase, exactly. Thank you for being here. Who's in charge? Hi, Jose, welcome. So I just want to talk about this. Okay, welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. And if I'm just assuming, if you are Jose of Mexican or Mexican-American descent, I'm really excited for you to be here because I really want to share the love that I have with Mexico and with anyone who is maybe from this country that I enjoy living in, and the people that I get to interact and the life that I get to live here. And I want to dispel any crazy rumors or myths or things that are really exaggerated in the North. And I'm here to really talk about my experiences and whatever they are. So today is all about the challenges of, is it soft life? I don't know. So we're going to get into that in a moment, but welcome to the channel. Okay, you're from Cali, welcome. I just wanted to really get into, okay, welcome, excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you taking the time. And if you have questions, you can always drop it here in the chat. And yeah, we'll talk more about some of the things that are coming up that I really want us to put out there, the life that we get to live in Mexico as foreigners. So the shoes are on the other foot. And I really, you're same. My parents brought me to, well, I should say not brought me, but they left Jamaica and they went to Canada. I was born there, and then they brought us to the United States. And I don't complain about that. However, I do at times feel like I missed out on knowing my culture and heritage more. And believe it or not, living in Mexico has brought that more to the surface. My dad passing has brought that more to the surface. And it makes me feel like I missed out on some things that I am now very interested in learning about, and living in Mexico and seeing the closeness that people have with their families and their tradition and their culture. It's like it makes me want to learn more about the country I choose to live in, but also learn more about my own heritage. So, it's just a growing thing. It's a growing thing. So I've been in Mexico for 6 years, over 6 years, and I've traveled in and out of Mexico literally since 2005. So I enjoy living here. But before we get into all the details, I just wanted to say that my channel is here to really share the experiences that I get to live, the things that I enjoy, the things that are challenging here. I think the number one thing is the language, which would happen in any country in the world if that wasn't my first language. And why I think it's important to try to integrate as much as possible into wherever you choose to live, if it's not where you are and or your home country. A lot of foreigners go to the United States and move around the world. I'm a foreigner in Mexico, and I think that it's important to understand that people are moving and they're choosing to be in other places for whatever the reasons are. And so the idea is, how do I make that transition soft? How do I make that change work for me? What do I need to know? And that's part of the channel that I created, was to share my experiences through my own lens as a person of color living in a foreign place that I wasn't born and raised in. So in saying all of that, tonight's topic is all about the catchphrase that soft life, quit your job, move abroad, and live the soft life. Okay, so not everyone experiences the soft life, right? So we'll get into that. But before we do that, please, everyone who's already on here, please hit the like button. And if you've been to my channel before and you enjoy what you see, please subscribe. It really, really helps. So I'm going to try to remember to say this throughout the night, because a lot of times I get caught up and I'm talking away and interacting with you all. So if you remember, please drop it in the chat. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Share my channel. I am Michelle Wedderburn. I live in San Miguel de Allende. I have been here since 2018. I very much enjoy living in Mexico. It doesn't mean everything is easy. I'm not here to say it's cheap. I don't use that word when I'm referring to life in Mexico, because I know that also doesn't apply to everyone who lives here. I know that people choose and have chosen to live in Mexico for all types of economic reasons, whether it's I get more for my money, or I'm on a fixed income, or I was born and raised in this country and I live here. My parents own the land and the house and the things, and I can't afford to move anywhere else. I don't take anyone's situation for granted, not mine, not anyone. So I'm here to really always say, and I said this often in the past, I say it as much as I can remember, to walk with grace if you are a foreigner, to not take your being accepted in Mexico for granted. I do think that Mexico as a country and also the culture makes it easier for us to integrate into society here, and they're accepting of foreigners and very helpful in so many ways. And that's also part of the conversation for tonight. So what I want to tell you is that I have a guest house in San Miguel, and my space is not an Airbnb. I want to say that it is still a private space. I've opened my home to helping people who are interested in moving to Mexico, moving abroad, traveling to Mexico. You could be a traveler. Some people who are looking to get into living in San Miguel, but maybe they haven't figured out where they want to live. This is kind of the space where you can stay for a month or two until you find your home, and all the things that kind of help the soft landing experience happen. And that's why I call San Miguel and Casa Elm, the soft landing experience. And we are here collectively, myself and the individuals who help me and work with me to make those experiences easier. Now, if you're interested in a relocation or business consultation, you can go to my website, Casa Elm, and check that out. I also wanted to say that we have our summit, Redefining Life Abroad Summit. We've been on all of our individual channels, all of our individual platforms in terms of the ladies that are a part of this summit. It's happening on August 10th and 11th. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. That is next weekend, you all. So if at all this intrigues you and sounds like something you want to be a part of and participate in, please go there, get your ticket. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. And during those 2 days, we will each speak on different parts of how you can redefine your life abroad. And it's not just focused on working. I will be talking about owning a business and the things. So, you know, if this sounds, like I said, appealing to you, please go ahead and join us. You know, we're going to, I believe, have some replays and things like that. I'm going to drop that link as I share with you, I will drop the links. The other thing that's really helpful is our upcoming Move to Mexico conference that will be on November the 1st through the 3rd. And that's going to be extremely comprehensive because it's going to have so many speakers from Mexico, speakers from abroad, from other places, foreigners from different places around the world that now live in Mexico, who will be talking to you about the very specific things, immigration, all the important things, but also things that people don't think about. For example, what's the culture in Mexico, right? How can I honor and arrive with the proper etiquette? There's gonna be someone who's a certified tour guide and historian talking about the history of Mexico. We're going to have a psychologist and also Tracy Collins, who will be talking about wellness and the psychology behind moving to Mexico. There's a lot to this. There's so many moving parts, and I think initially people start with, okay, how much is my house going to be, and where can I live, and how much is this going to be for rent, and what can I buy, and where are the neighborhoods that, you know, the people want to be in, and all the things. And then what happens after you get here? What happens when, you know, you realize, oh, this is not so easy? What happens when you realize that you have no idea when the local holidays are, or you go out to a place and maybe you're offensive and you don't even know you're offensive? All the things, right? In addition to, of course, immigration, real estate, medical insurance. We're going to have a guy who's going to talk about taxes, all the things that are super important. Taxes in the US, how do I handle my, you know, what do I do when I move here? How do I handle all the things? So that's what the Move to Mexico conference will be about. We also are going to have a meetup. So if you're interested in just coming to San Miguel as a tourist, and or you just want to check it out, but you don't want to go it alone, then you can also join our upcoming San Miguel de Allende meetup, which is October 24th through the 28th. Okay, so I am dropping things in the live chat that you can find info about, and you can go also to my website, which is here, and you can explore your heart away because there's so much info there, and that's casaelm.com. And yes, Jetta, I'm looking forward to it as well, seeing you here. It's going to be fun. So I will talk briefly, then I'm going to get into my topic about our meetup, which is October 24th through the 28th. We are planning to, it's short, but we're planning to have on Friday night rooftop meetup, which is awesome. If you follow me online, you see some of the things that we get to do. There's so many beautiful restaurants here, so many beautiful rooftop options. And so we're going to do that. It's going to just be, time to meet the other people that are also interested in San Miguel. There are 2 ticket options. You can also find that under events. If you scroll, everything's kind of on my events page in chronological order, so you can find that. But we're going to meet up, and then there's 2 tickets. There's the general admission ticket, which I think it's $375, and that basically gives you 2 drinks on the meetup night. It gives you a walking tour on Saturday of the city walking tour, and it's going to be great. It'll be in English. And then on Sunday, it's an all-white, dressed in all white, and we're going to go to an amazing vineyard and have a brunch over there. And so it includes those 3 things. So it does not include if you did not buy the VIP ticket, which is more, don't remember what it is, but there's only one left and you get to stay at Casa Elm. I have 1 space left. I've been saying that. I have 1 space left, okay? Somebody get it. So at Casa Elm, it includes quite a few other things like pick up at the airport and all the things. So you can go there and check that out, okay? And if you're interested in booking it, just go ahead and make your deposit for that, and then we'll send you an invoice for the balance. So tonight's topic, right? I hear a lot of amazing people that are YouTubers that I follow, that I admire, that are somewhat in the same arena as myself, talking about the soft life, and living a life of ease and all the things. There is nothing wrong with any of that. However, I do want to talk about my life and my things here in San Miguel and why that doesn't necessarily resonate with me. And this is a conversation that I had with our group for Redefining Life Abroad. How we're redefining life abroad. We're talking about the things that you can do if you're not someone who is in a space to not do anything, right? Mexico has been notorious, and other countries, but Mexico has been notorious for being the place where people, after they retire, come and live and, maybe hang out on the beach. I don't know. But it's quickly become, and I think it's grown rapidly since COVID, a place where a lot of digital nomads are coming, people who have their own business, people who work online are coming to possibly and most likely live and still save money so they can move around and have more freedom. That is closer to the soft life concept in my mind. For me, soft life is a catchphrase in my situation. And I'll explain why. It doesn't mean, my life is negative. It just means that everyone's scenario and situation is different. So I think that if you're choosing to move abroad and you're choosing to do something else, that you need to really think through what happens when I get there, right? Also a part of the whole, how do I redefine the scenario for myself? In my situation, I moved to Mexico. I was not solo single as I am now, but I came here to slow down a little bit, but I still always wanted to have a business of some sort. And what exactly and how that was going to look, it was always going to be in kind of the wellness category of some sort. How did that look at the time? Looks very different than what it is right now. So what I wanted to say in regard to soft life, for me, it feels more like, when I hear that, I kind of like, that's not my existence. And it doesn't mean my existence is bad. It just means I work very hard as an entrepreneur to function in all capacities, because as an entrepreneur, I have so many hats that I have to put on all day, throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the years. And I feel very rewarded by what I do, but I wouldn't call it a soft life. So if you're someone who's moving to Mexico to open a business, even if you're a consultant, understand that you are wearing all the hats, and what can you do in your business to automate as much as possible so it doesn't feel like this, like you're, I'm just saying it, this is the reality. And I have a brick and mortar, which I will be discussing again next week in the summit. I'm going to keep plugging the summit, which is next week, 10th and 11th. Having a brick and mortar comes with so much responsibility, and it's the same as having a brick and mortar anywhere. And in Mexico, it can be even more complicated. What is different here, I feel, is once again going back to having the ability to get affordable support, the ability to wrap yourself, or I should say integrate into the local community, to be able to tap into locals who are happy to help. As simple as this week, I posted on the local Facebook pages, I'm looking for an assistant who is willing to come and physically be here 2 days out of the week, and maybe eventually it goes into a more virtual scenario. But I wanted someone in San Miguel who is bilingual. They have to be bilingual, meaning if Spanish is your first language, grand, but you have to be able to speak English, because my clients speak English, and the assistance that I'm looking for is going to be administrative, and you need to be able to read and write and respond to those clients who are coming here in English. The point of saying that is that so many people responded with their resumes, and I was quite impressed. So, this is what adds to my life being less complicated, less stressful. It's not soft. It's hopefully on the way to being softer, because I do create a soft landing for everyone that comes here, but that takes work. So I want people to have a very realistic viewpoint that if you choose to open a business here that's not virtual per se, or just online, and you already got it going, and you're just basically taking your computer and moving to a whole different address in another country, but you're physically like, you know what, I'm interested in starting a restaurant, I'm interested in having a guest house, I'm interested in bringing people here, I'm interested in opening a nightclub or a lounge, a salon, get my hair did, whatever, understanding that this is work. This is not soft. It means you can probably afford to do it a little bit more so than all the red tape and extra stipulations in the United States, but you still have to really work. And thank you, Jetta. Thank you. And yes, it's a good life, because yes, and I hope that is what you're looking for. I appreciate you. It is a good life because I feel very purposeful in what I'm doing. And although I have little time to sleep, little time for all the things that I used to do in the past, whatever those things were, and because I'm in a community that's growing very quickly, I am so honored to be invited to a lot of different things, but I honestly have so much balancing that I have to do regularly that it makes me realize that, you really got to stay right here to kind of do the things. So in saying that, It's just really interesting because when I think about, that aspect of living abroad, I know there's a huge difference from what it was when I first moved here and what it is now. And I really kind of like envision, okay, what if this was something I started 10 years ago and 15 years ago? Like, where would I be now? So those are the projections that I am kind of like making in my head. Is like, okay, where do I want to be in the next 5 years? What do I want to settle down into? And my brain is constant with the ideas and the things, right? So I'm always like, I have lots of things I'm trying to do, and it's hard to stay focused sometimes because I see the potentials in all of the things and living here and how much possibility exists. And it makes me just kind of like, my heart pitter patter a little faster. So basically, the concept of, like I said, soft life, it does exist if one, I think you already have your things all set and you're just basically moving, right? I have had lots of clients who are not retired that have come through Casa Elm. They loved it, and they basically, just kind of moved their home office to a Mexico home office, and I love it, right? So I'm still earning the same money, I'm still doing my thing, but I'm over here, and I love where I live, and I get to explore and do all these fun things. Again, that's cool, because now it comes with the perks, and it comes with, you can hire someone to help you with things, and hire someone that, you're pouring into the local economy that can help you with things. Same for myself, except this is a physical thing that started here. So there's a lot of ongoing things that come up. And I'm saying this because I want to encourage you to be ready for it if this is what you choose to do. When I say this, I don't mean necessarily exactly what I'm doing. Of course, you can do whatever you want. I mean it more so like if you decide to do a brick and mortar building place, whatever that is in Mexico, it's work. It's work understanding the new space. For example, today's drama. Today's drama coming to you live from San Miguel de Allende, Casa Elm. Okay, so I've had like on-off challenges with getting straight answers on a regular basis, but there's like a kind of like something happening where the power kind of flickers a little, and then I don't know if it's the weather because I can't get the right answers, but the point is that I've had about a month-long worth of conversations with this gentleman who is extremely helpful. He replaced a water heater, and maybe this will be my little therapy session. He replaced the water heater, and he was great, okay? And I trust him, trust what he's saying. And, he put this in about a month ago. Everything's cool, right? And I actually replaced the water heater about 2 years ago. So you're not supposed to have to replace. However, there's calcium buildup and all the things. So you learn about stuff along the way. I didn't know that I needed to do maintenance and whatever on the equipment. So this guy educated me. I actually got a new one, a higher quality one, and we're in great shape. Everything's coming along. But he was giving me some advice on some other work, and he said, I really think you need to do these things because whoever originally did it didn't do a great job. Okay, and I'm like, well, how much is that going to cost? So he gives me a quote, and I'm just like, okay, that's going to have to wait for a few weeks, but we're going to circle back to you. Well, you either circle back or you're forced to circle back. So, so yesterday it's like suddenly I'm having like these little mini challenges again. And so I contacted him today, and, I said, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do this stuff. The point is that I always seem to find people who are extremely helpful. So I just want to say that I really find a lot of useful, very helpful people who are trying to figure out the things. What I have learned, and to me, this is a part of the non-soft life existence, is you really, really have to ask a lot of questions, okay? And if you do not speak the language, pull your Google Translator out, and even if you feel like you're being annoying, just keep asking, make sure you understand what's going to be done. You'll learn. You'll either learn from a costly mistake, you'll learn from, I need to listen to my intuition. It took me a little while to settle on doing this because I felt like I needed to kind of see the reoccurring thing, one, and I needed to kind of test the honesty of this particular person, two, and three, I typically do not give a large sum of money, and I highly advise against it to anyone until they do the work. So I'm always negotiating, nope, you can get a percentage, or I'll come with you to buy the equipment and the things, and then, if you need a portion of it for your labor, because this is going to be like a couple days job, then we'll kind of build up to the final payment, right? Because the stories could go on things that go awry on both sides, but you still have to have some faith. So in saying that, I've felt very, very overwhelmed over the last couple of months because it just feels like, just when I'm like, kind of like, oh, maybe I can see something on Netflix for an hour. It's like, nope, got something else that just came up. And whatever it is, in addition to not just running the business, but having all the online things to take care of. So none of it's a complaint, but what I realize is you need to get help. You need to get help. You need to get help. You got to get help because that's where the help starts to create more of the soft life existence. And living abroad does allow you to have maybe a more affordable scenario as a business owner, especially. So I have a bunch of people that I'm going to be talking to, interviewing on this weekend. In addition, and yes, you guys might think I'm just like always piling things on my plate. So I'm not complaining. I'm just sharing with you because it's me who's adding all the stuff, right? But I have ambitions. I have things that I want to do. Okay, so who's been here and you've heard me talk about, I like cooking. I love my Jamaican heritage, my food. I'm going to keep talking about that as well. I love it and I enjoy it. I enjoy infusing the things with Mexican things, making oxtail tacos or making curry, sea bass, and some, Southern things or whatever. So I'm always taking like my Jamaican things and infusing them with other cultural foods. Like when I was living in Florida, I had such a love, and I still do, for Thai food. And I would just like infuse my jerk seasonings with lemongrass, and it was just amazing. It was really good. And so this for me represents my personal experiences of travel and going to places where something made a huge impression on me, but I still have who I am. And I'm like, okay, let me try this. Let me pour that in. Let me try this and mix that. And let me see, ooh, how would this taste? So while living here, this is another ambition that I have. And so what I've decided is I'm going to hire a few ladies and I'm going to train them and show them how to make the things I love to make, so that this is the representation. However, it's not just Michelle doing it by herself all the time. So that part is where I think the soft life can start to become more effective, more in effect, like more present in your life. So be in a position and this is something I'm learning and continue to be aware of, is be in a position to really and truly get the help from the community in the place that you plan to move to. If you're living abroad, like, try to get that help, because that to me is what starts to create a softer existence, because otherwise it's just you doing everything in a new place, right? And I believe in terms of, like, when people talk about this on these specific channels where we are not living in the United States and we're leaving this stressful existence behind and we're trying to lighten the load and whatever, don't think that you just showing up here and hiring a housekeeper if you want to start or run a business. You know, again, this doesn't apply to everyone, but if you want to start and run a business that, oh, I'm just going to do A, B, C, D, even if you're a consultant, you can get help online, you know, get the help. This, for me, is what starts to create more of what sounds like a soft life existence. And there are people who need the work. The individuals that I work with, or as of right now, I hope to add someone part-time by next week. The ones that I'm working with, they're amazing. I mean, my house person, my manager of the house, Sandra, I love her. All the ladies that have been here, or individuals, not just ladies, but the ladies and gentlemen that have been here, you all know Sandra is my right-hand person. She holds it down and she does so much. She helps me so much. And I want to believe that I've also, you know, contributed in a positive way to her life. We talk about business. She's actually surprised when we talk about business. So it's always really nice to kind of pick up from there with her. I have my other gentleman who works with me, Gustavo. He's online, virtual, and he's Mexican, and he's bilingual, and he really helps hold the fort down virtually. And I'm so grateful for both of them. You know, I had another individual doing some social media things, and it just, you know, that part wasn't quite fully working out. But, you know, working and having a business, it's trial and error for who fits in and who gets you and who can actually take things off your plate, right? And that's when you start getting in line and going towards the soft life existence. So it's really one of those things where I think, you know, don't arrive and just expect that everything's gonna be fabulous. Even if you're not working, it's time for you to start to settle down. There are a lot of people who come here to retire, and they're like, oh, I didn't expect that it was going to take a year for me to settle into my life in San Miguel or Mexico. And, you know, sometimes that can frustrate and overwhelm, but you have to also just understand that everything is a process and it takes time, and you need to come being ready to be patient with those processes, right? Even for me, like, I'm so used to, how do I start this business online? And in the US, it's easier, one, because I speak the language, right? I can go on and get my FEIN number, open my business bank account, no problem. You know, do the things, hire the person, tell them what I need, communicate clearly, spell it all out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Coming here, I was just like, I have no idea where to start, but I'm just gonna start, right? And just starting sometimes could also be a problem, because you really need to understand, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Where should I, you know, what do I do first? You know, and again, in my opinion, when you ask questions of the people that you would ask the same questions in your home country, for example, an attorney, you assume you're going to get the right answers here. Don't do that, because sometimes they really don't know what they're talking about. They may specialize in something else, right? They may specialize in I'm not sure. Let's say, okay, one of the individuals I spoke to, he specialized mostly in immigration. And so I used him to help my mother get her Mexican residency. And when it was time for my business stuff, I went all ready with all my things. And I was like, okay, and he kind of gave me some really wrong advice. And I kind of left there feeling like, okay, he's like, oh, well, you just start now. I wouldn't worry about it. It's Pandora's box and I wouldn't do ABC. And what I should have done was said, okay, thank you, and continue to look for more assistance and more help. So I'm sharing this with you all, and I will share a lot of details in our upcoming summit. So make sure you sign up for the summit if you haven't. I'm going to drop it again here it's in the chat. You don't have to scroll up. It's actually right here. You don't have to go up too high. But in the summit, I'm going to really talk about having a brick and mortar, the details, the contracts that you probably should have set up if you go into business, if you're going to hire people, the things that you need to know. Thank you, Jose. And I wanted to say hi to Carol. Welcome. Hi. And anyone else, I'm sorry if I missed anyone. Yes, Jetta, I love my Sandra. Yes, and Jetta's been here, so can't wait to see her again. It's been awesome. Do you have more relatives in Mexico? No, my mom doesn't live in Mexico. It's just my son and I, and that about it. And the community that I feel very a part of, helping to grow and create. When I moved here, we were, I think Stephanie told me we were 12 Black people. Now we're a couple hundred Black people. So not that I came here for that, I did not. But what I chose to share, do, and express is give life from my lens as a person of color living in Mexico, and the simple fact that I feel very received. I remember I went to Gloria, who was a Mexican lady, beautiful home, and her space. This was when I was looking for retreat spaces, and she has these villas, very amazing, and she's very eccentric, and I really enjoyed talking to her and getting to know her. And she said, well, why did you come here? Like, why did you want to live in Mexico? And the first thing that came to mind, I said, because I feel received here, and I've never felt rejected here. I've never felt like unsafe per se. I say unsafe meaning I'm not just, waltzing around at night and going to places I shouldn't be and not being aware of things, but I don't feel profiled here. And I feel appreciated here. So for me, in my experience, I wanted to share that. I wanted people to see the life through my lens. And that's the reason why I started this channel. If you look way back at my things, I was talking a lot about my experiences in Mexico and around Mexico. I wanted to educate people on the 32 states, which I didn't even realize, even though I traveled in and out. I knew they had states, but I didn't know there were 32 of them. So that was really my goal, is like, hey, this is an option, and it's also for you too. This is why I love it, and this is why I love San Miguel. This is why I love even traveling around Mexico. I love to explore. I like to see other things. I do my homework and research on where I'm going so that I know what I need to be aware of and what I need to be cautious about. But I also feel that Mexico, in my opinion, has gotten such a horrible, ugly rap over the years, and that US media has exploited the whole cartel idea in every opportunity they can. And so therefore, there's this constant, continuous fear of being in this country, right? Because if you haven't been here, you haven't traveled here, or you haven't gone over the southern border from the US to Mexico, your whole belief system is, I'm not safe. But the reality is you're also not safe where you are, and you need to use your common sense, and again, I'm not saying all of Mexico is like San Miguel. It's not. There are struggles. There are real struggles. For whatever reason, I think a lot of the struggles are very different. The safety is very different. But overall, I feel that it's culturally, again, I've found people to be really helpful here. Like, I have kind of peeled back a little bit how I approach my day to day and how I move around. Again, I've always been safe, locking doors, being aware, cautious, whatever, like even my house, any house I've had either an alarm system, cameras, doesn't prevent everything, but I've had those things. I've been careful about where I go, whatever, but I'm not limiting myself from not doing stuff because it's all here and I'm like, oh, I watch this, IDTV. I think that's the network that has all the crazy reality TV things. So anyway, that's my 2 cents about that. And yeah, I just find that the people in Mexico are extremely helpful, and it's been for me a really beautiful journey. However, it's work. It is work having a business, and I am not complaining. What I am saying is that I am grateful that it's here, because I've had businesses in the United States, and I found it to be a little bit tougher, but in a different way. I found it to be easier in terms of my understanding of what I needed to do, but I found it harder to find like people who were loyal to helping, to working with me, to staying a part of my team. And here, I don't know, one of the things one of my friends said a while ago was, we were talking about something, and they just said, if you work with a Mexican person, they're going to be probably the most loyal to you and what you're doing. It's sort of like, and this could be positive or negative, but you're almost adopting them into your business, your world, depending on what the capacity is of the job. And I say that more probably from a domestic standpoint, a domestic worker. And so I find that that part is, for me, comforting, because it takes time to build a confidence level, to see the characteristics of someone, to see what their personality is it a sincere thing? You are kind of relinquishing a little bit, your space when it comes to them coming into your home. And you still have to be cautious, you still have to be aware, you still have to take the steps all of the time to kind of make sure you and your things, or your life and your loved ones, are still guarded and protected. But for being here in these 6 years, I've had various people who've worked with me, and I've always kind of felt like, more or less, okay, I can trust them in my space. I see how they are, I'm observing them, I'm seeing, like, okay, I don't need to be over the top worried about what they're doing, and I'm not going to leave $1 million sitting on a countertop. I don't have $1 million to leave, but I'm just saying, I'm not just going to leave things out of value because, sometimes people have situations and maybe this is their hard time, rock in a hard place. But I think it's really interesting to, take and dispel all the things in our mind about, oh, I can't have somebody in my space and I can't trust them and I can't, that is in my opinion, a very American approach. And here I've learned to kind of peel some of those layers. So yeah, hi, Michelle, welcome. Hi, Danica. I hope I'm saying that, Danica. Hi, Michelle Watson, how are you? I'm going to talk about you in a second. Okay, butterfly effect is part of the safety component, not having to manage double consciousness as a Black person. You are not constantly aware of. Right, it's true. What's a good way to put this? So I have a guest who arrived on Sunday, and she was with someone who picked her up Sunday 15 minutes later and whisked her off to our Sunday brunch. I couldn't go because actually, I'm just going to say this. I fell the other day, a couple days ago, and I really fell hard and it was not cool. And anyway, I'm okay, but I decided to rest and not go to brunch on Sunday. So I asked one of the ladies in my community, Dee Watkins, whom I love, and she's a part of our panel. I asked her if she could host that brunch on Sunday. And literally my guest showed up, and in a 15-minute span of time, I was like, do you want to go? She'll come and get you. She was like, oh, so while they were out, apparently Dee made a stop on the way home and decided that she was going to run into wherever. And then apparently a cop came and was asking my guest, who was sitting in the passenger seat, to move the car. And I think she was just kind of like trying to figure out, how do I move this kind of, medium-sized vehicle in this like tiny street? And they all were very helpful. The cop and someone else came out, and she didn't speak English. So when she came back and she was telling me the story, she said, I originally went into kind of a panic state of me feeling like, oh crap, like in the US, the cops just give you a harder time, right? Or other places in the world. Here, they're kind of just like, they're not coming at you with a lot of aggression and built up anger and authoritative. They're kind of like, can you please move your car? And, they will help you. If, let's say you're stuck, they will actually probably get in the car and move it. They're not going to bark at you and whatever. Now, in saying that, the bribes exist, okay, which you all have heard my bribe stories already. I've been bribed twice. And I'm just like, you know what, for $15, here you go, because I was in the wrong. And so I'm not going to get all bent out of shape about it. However, she was saying how she felt like her natural response was to be afraid. And then she realized that she didn't need to be afraid and that they were helpful. And I said, yeah, there have been times when I've gone into Central or somewhere, there was a cop there, and I also don't feel afraid, because if I'm just running in to do something, like literally even 5 minutes, I remember they blocked off all the streets because I think they were having like a parade or something. They needed everyone to move the cars, and they put these signs up. And I remember I had to run in to grab something from a consignment shop that they were giving back to me. And I was like, I had to do it that day. They were closing, and I was like, I got to get my stuff. And there was a cop on the street, and she's like, don't park here. So I got out, and I was like, por favor, can I just, run inside and get my things? It's just going to take me 2 seconds. I prompt 2 minutes. And she said, okay, 10 minutes maximum. And she let me in. And this has happened multiple times where they're just kind of like, okay, 5 minutes, okay. They're not, scaring the crap out of you. They're not, whatever. Again, it doesn't mean, all of the cops in the US are threatening. It's like you start realizing you can kind of chill out, right? And I think we're traumatized as people of color, people in general. I'm sure there are a lot of people in general that are afraid of the police in the US because it's usually coming more of an aggressive type of way in all kinds of scenarios. For example, you go to the airport, here you can't park, but they're just not as aggressive about bark, move your car, you got to go around the block. It's like, okay, I just pulled up, There is a little area you can wait, or if you're where it needs to be more active, you're like, okay, 1 minute, someone's coming. They're kind of like, okay, all right, hurry up, And so I like that. I don't feel as pressed as a person of color. I think it really helps to speak the language, because a lot of times when you return the conversation or you question whatever it is, they're kind of like, oh, like, okay, she speaks my language, and oh, okay, I'm going to give her an explanation. I don't know. I think the only time I really felt extremely nervous was when I took the bus trip, and they have military stop and checkpoints, and they wanted to check my suitcase and only mine, and then I got kind of pissed, and I said it. I was like, porque solamente mío, like, why are you only checking my stuff? And my son was on the bus, so I was just kind of like, this isn't cool, this isn't okay, and I started to get upset. And then they were like, oh, go, like, go ahead, go, like, get back on the bus, and I felt very intimidated by that scenario, because I was kind of like, do they even understand what I'm saying? What are you looking for? I'm showing you all my stuff. And someone said to me, they thought that they were just curious. And also, I know that time, this was over a year ago, there were a lot of Haitian people from Haiti that were in the like caravans moving throughout Mexico. So I think for them, seeing a person of color, a Black person, was just like, we need to check your credentials. And that's a norm. Like, I remember being in Thailand, being on, certain transportation type vehicles or whatever that were taking me outside of the city of Bangkok into other places. And they had a lot of checkpoints. They were checking people who didn't have the right documentation, and they were like, nope, you got to get off, and I don't know where they were bringing them to. So the point is that it isn't uncommon, but it can be intimidating if you can't communicate well. Okay, so not telling you not to ride the bus, but if you do ride the bus, just make sure you have your passport. Make sure you have your things, okay? And Danica, thank you for talking about safety in Mexico. Yes, the media in the US would have. You believe all of Mexico has cartels, yeah. Yeah, and it's hard, and I'm gonna get to your comment too, Michelle, and I'm gonna let you all know who Michelle is. But one of the things that I notice a lot more of now is how we are profiled, not just in real life, but we are profiled as people ethnic, minorities or whatever, in everything, okay? We are profiled this way in commercials. We are profiled this way on television shows, in music, in the movie theater, in advertising to you, like, who's buying the baggy pants? Oh, let's put it on BET. Let's put it in the rap video. Let's put, did they sell baggy pants in Gap? Maybe they did. I don't know. But my point is that we are living in, y'all, not me, you all that are still in the north, you're living in a very profile society. And so I realize more of this living here, how much talk is across the board in regard to cartels and drugs and all the things. The point is I live in San Miguel. I have hardly seen a person sleeping on the streets. I have hardly seen someone cracked out. I used to see cracked out people all the time in South Florida. I am talking cracked out, okay? Every place. Florida for me was, and I'm not all into the, being religious and whatever, but I was like, if there were such a thing as Sodom and Gomorrah, it would have been South Florida. I'm saying that because I'm very open-minded. I experienced so many things that just made me realize like, wow, okay. So living in South Florida, I mean, going out to a nightclub, there were just like people coming up with drugs all over. I don't see that here. I go out, I know it's around, but it's not smack dab in my eyeballs. And so I find it extremely interesting. Now, it doesn't mean, it doesn't somehow transport to here, but it's going up to the people who buy and who support and continue to support. So, maybe it's produced in certain countries. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. We're not going to get all deep into any of those things. But what I find is that when I watch television, occasionally when I'm watching a Netflix show, depending on what it is, they're always quick to drop the Mexicans and the cartels and the drugs and the this, and the people of color get shot first, or the harshest way, point blank way, and the face way, and the whole thing. And I see it now. I see it even more than I did before, because I was always like, okay, well, they just had a whole shootout and everybody else died normal. But then, here's this one person of color who got point blank to the forehead. And I'm like, that's why it's so easy for the cops to show up and start shooting us, because they see it all the time. And you see it in the games that kids are playing and all the stuff. Okay, I can go on a whole other topic, but I'm not going to do that. But that's my viewpoint in living here. The commercials for all the, negative things have all the minority people, whatever. And they're the ones that, we're selling to. You got the diseases and you need to be the one. It's only us, right? So that's my viewpoint. And I hope that you'll remember this as you're watching all those crazy commercials and all the things. I don't see them because I don't have US television. I don't watch it. I don't watch the media. I see things, people share stuff with me. That's probably the extent of it. I am extremely disconnected for a reason. And when it does come to my viewpoint, and if I do choose to watch something on Netflix, because I do have Netflix, and if I do choose to watch something, I am always aware of how we show up, and I don't like it. So that's my 2 cents. Now let's get to Michelle. Hi, Miss Michelle Watson. I really am excited to see you here. So Michelle Watson is with her beautiful tea company, Ingenuity and Spice Company. Check her out. She has the most amazing flavors, packaging, teas, the whole nine. She is our official tea sponsor for Casa Elm. She has been here twice. She's done tutorials for my influencer weekends, and I try my best to remember to mention her on Wednesday night lives to talk about her products and have you all please go to her website and support, because I want to just say that it's been really beautiful having her products in the house and just realizing like they're amazing, number one, but the ladies that come, the people that kind of, I say ladies all the time, there are men who come here too, but there's a lot of us women who come here. Yeah, soft landing. And we all love your teas. And so she says, it's key to remember that soft means different things to different people. Yes. And what may not bother Michelle, she's comfortable with me. Yeah, it's true, and vice versa, because honestly, and that's what I said in the beginning, is the soft landing is going to be different for everyone, or the soft life meaning rather is going to be different for everyone, right? If you're coming here, let's say, for example, as I said before, you already work online, you're already a digital nomad, it's going to still be kind of you taking your existence and moving somewhere where you get more bang for your buck, right? You can get help. You can have individuals who are going to be able to, you're going to be able to afford certain things. Same for if you have children, you're going to be able to afford help here in Mexico, because now, and again, it's a choice. If you choose to live within whatever your fixed budget is, you need to create a budget. and you say, you know what, I want to spend X amount per week to get help with my kids, or help with my life, or help with cooking, help with cleaning. So I don't have to think about that, and I can now, I can sit back and take a bubble bath. Okay, that's me throwing something extra. But I can rest a little more, right? I can spend a little more time with my family. I can do more with my family, or we can go on a vacation because we've just cut a third of our costs off. You know, that is where I think the soft things start to kind of show up. For me, soft showing up is I can afford to get assistance in this setting, because I've had a business in Florida, and it was a lot to work all day and then go home and stay up, take care at the time of a 2-year-old, right? He's now 12, my baby. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing quotes and invoices because it was just me. And I'm like, okay, I got to get this out, because if I don't, I'm not going to get that contract. So let me get this out. And then just when I'm just hitting the send button, my 2-year-old's waking up and he's projectile vomiting across the room. And I got to get up at 6 or 7. No, it was usually 6:30. You know, that wasn't soft. It was kind of like, oh crap, you know. And now it's like, of course he's older, but I'm here and I can really and truly get the help. I can get the help. I can have someone who works with me, and I say, all right, you know, I would like to fix these things. These are real things, okay? I'll tell you a little bit about my week. I was doing some work in the yard, right? I have these paver stone, like the ones like kind of steppers, but they're slate. And I needed to have them redone. It's been rainy, muddy, messy, crazy. All right, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday I'm prepping, but Friday and Saturday I'm cooking. And, you know, so I'm like coordinating that. So I said to Sandra, hey, Sandra, can you ask your friend if she can come? You know, this is before then, but can you ask your friend if she can come and help this weekend? And I'm like all ambitious. I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to make cocoa bread, and I want to learn how to do, and I'm going to do this. And what I have a tendency to do is put it out there, so I'm now committed to that, right? Have I made cocoa bread before? I never had to, because I could just buy it. But this past weekend I made cocoa bread. It was good. Came out pretty decent. I'm trying to figure out how to get it fluffier. But the point is that I was able to get help. And then I said, okay, I'm not happy with the way the yard looks. It's really a disaster right now. It's muddy, raining. These rocks are not in the right place. Do you know? So she's, you know, she is like, they always know somebody who knows someone. And she's like, oh yeah, the lady that's coming, her husband, da, da, da. Next thing I know, hour and a half later, he's here. He's at my house fixing the stuff while I'm baking, cooking, and she's helping me. And then the two, I call them ranch girls, they're outside starting the grill so I can do my jerk chicken. And it's like, that is creating the soft life experience, because if I had to execute all these things or manage all these things, it would be a lot, right? So yes, it is different for everyone, but I want to say that what makes it softer is, for me in my scenario, especially as a business owner, is having the community and the support and being able to communicate with those people. So 2018, worked all over, in and out, stores, online. Yeah, no one cares. No one cares. No one bothers me. When I tell you I have the mind of someone who's always looking out for a serial killer, that may sound crazy, but I've always had this mindset. As a child, I don't know why. I was always like, oh, we don't go in the park. We don't do this. We don't do that. You know, I don't know why, because, you know, like nothing came my way or to my family or anything, but I always had this mindset of extreme caution in the night and where I go, where I walk, what I do, whatever. And I didn't even grow up with a television, okay? My parents didn't have a TV, so it was just always there. So I have a tendency to watch things like that. Well, and I know this may sound bizarre, but I'm just sharing how I have become more comfortable in walking around here. I'm still cautious, but you know, and some of the guests, they'll probably watch this and chuckle because there's like a route where I take, and I love it. It's beautiful. It's all tree-lined street. It's by the train tracks. And already that sounds like a creepy movie. And then there's a part that kind of goes, you know, turns into like a dirt road, and then it connects you to the other side of this particular neighborhood. And there's a park and whatever. Well, in the past, I would have never walked down that street. You know, the point of saying all of that is that I have learned to still be very aware, very cautious of where I am, but also kind of how I interact with people on the street. And what I've learned is that a lot of the people, you need to just say something, right? Because now you're present, right? You don't want to be like nervous to look at someone and give off this kind of energy. Again, cautious, checking someone out, looking them in their eye. Buenos dias. I am not afraid to talk to a dude. Plus, you know, yeah, anyway, I'm rough and tumble. I grew up with all boys. But my point is that I realized a lot of this was how I felt. And when I was in the US, I felt like a lot of people would harass and catcall and all the things. And here people just haven't really done that. Maybe I'm just getting older and they're just like, yeah, whatever. But my point is that I always felt very guarded about walking around at weird hours. And I say weird hours, you know, walking at 6:30 in the morning. It's not that weird, but you know, there aren't a ton of people necessarily. And I pick very common routes, but at the same time, what I realize here is that I speak to people and I say hello, and they're usually surprised. And I'm like, you know, buenos dias, and very, you know, like I say it very strong. I was gonna say fuerte, which is strong in Spanish. I'm just very like, you know, buenos dias. And they kind of look up and they're like, oh, buenos dias, buen dia, you know, and then keep it moving. So what I realized, a lot of the things that I've felt, I've been able to shed because I'm comfortable in this place. I'm still very cautious. I'm still very aware of the Dexters in the world. Let's see. Welcome, Yvette. Off topic. Do you walk with your pat? Nope. Do you go back to your home country to pick up a renewed? Nope. No and no. I do not walk with my passport anywhere. I'm a resident of Mexico, permanente. I don't walk with that either. According to my attorney, take a picture and have it in your phone. Now, if you travel within Mexico, yeah, you need to have, well, if you travel with your permanente in Mexico, that's it. That's all you need. Now, I will travel with my passport in Mexico if I'm flying, especially. If I get on the bus, I'm definitely going to have it. But I don't walk around with it on my person because it's too difficult to get. When I say difficult, you can get it because I got my son's passport. So it's not a problem to get it. It's just, you know, you need to get things certified. There's a US consulate right here in San Miguel. I got my kiddo's passport renewed because I thought it was expiring, I think in, I don't remember, like the following year, but it was actually that year in like 2 months, and he was traveling, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't realize it's this year and not next year. And I was able to make an appointment, get my stuff, and he got it in 3 weeks. And I forget what I said to them, because they were like, well, you know, if he is, they wanted to, what was the advice my friend gave me? She said, tell them that he's traveling by land and they're going to get it to him fast. They're going to make an appointment for you faster, which it was like a 3-week time frame. I think no more than 4 weeks I had it back. So, and if you have access to a consulate, a US embassy, US consulate, I think that it's a pretty quick process, but I don't walk around with that. I took a picture, I saved it in my notes. I have copies of my passport and both of our passports and our residency card. Let's see, what makes it softer if you do it in your own terms? I'm not sure if that's just a statement or a question. Sorry. Only being accountable to you and your goals versus a okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that is a big part of it. I think what it is understanding that you have to put in the work into no matter what it is you're doing, no matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're here or in the US. When I had my company in the US, it was very rewarding. I loved it. I had quite a few contractors that worked for me. It was a different business than this, but I also had rental property. And I remember everyone always saying, again, the catchphrase, passive income, passive income. There is nothing passive about being a landlord, okay? Unless you have a lot of properties and you have a property management company. And even then, you're going to, you're going to need to be a part of how much is going out the door, because people don't care as much as you do about your business, and in order to grow and the things, you have to be a part of it. And I realized I had rental properties, and I was just like, okay, there's nothing passive about this. I need to keep checking in and fixing, and oh, this problem came up and that came up, and it just all depends. I had to evict people. Yeah, and I was talking to one of my guests today because she also has, real estate, and she said, yeah, we were talking about that. She said, there's nothing passive about having passive income. You still have to work, it's a job. But the difference is, yeah, you don't have a boss, and there's nothing necessarily horrible all the time about having a boss. It just means that you are now responsible for a lot more things, right? And as your company grows, yeah, maybe you can kind of pull yourself back a little. You're making more money, you have more resources, and you can, delegate more. But in the beginning, you have to put in the time and you have to do the things. Hi, Yvonne, I just realized that was you. Lit Life, what's up? I saw Yvette, and then I just kind of glanced over and I saw the YV and kept it moving. What's up, sister? Yvonne's been here too. So anywho, that's kind of, my viewpoint on what I consider a little bit of the catchphrase is we want to get to a softer life. We want to get to more ease. But I think it depends on where you are. And I think that people that are just like, oh, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to sell my things, I'm going to sell my house, and I'm just, I'm doing nothing. Know where you are in your life. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm done, right? I got to the point where I was done with corporate. I literally left corporate in 2002, for those who don't know, and I have never worked for another corporation again. Okay, and I have figured it out. So I hope that inspires you somehow. I've had multiple businesses. This one is my favorite. My second favorite was the one I had in Florida. And I loved it because I love decorating, I love design. So it was somewhat of a rehab kind of thing, but it wasn't. It was like we were responsible for going into properties that people moved out of and basically getting them ready for people to move in. And it was so rewarding and it was amazing. And I was my own boss and I had contractors working for me, and trust, those people got on my nerves sometimes because they weren't always reliable. And it's a very male-dominated industry, so I didn't get the respect I always needed until I put my thumb in the eyeball. Not literally, but I was just like, yo. So in saying that, like I said, I grew up with boys, and there were times when I had to say, you're not going to call me sweetheart. It's not happening. And people thought I was younger than I was, and that's okay. But you still have to have respect. So it was challenging, but I loved it. And I remember one of my clients had his own portfolio of places, and he wanted to box me back in. He was like, oh, well, since you're a single mother, would you like to come and work for us? And this way you'll have a secure paycheck. And la, la, la. I was like, just stop it. No. Why would I go work for you when I'm fine, I'm making it, And it was just one of those things where the control factor really was just not going to work. I enjoy this. I work a lot, I'm up a lot, I'm doing the things, but I enjoy it. And I see the ladies and the people come, and when we sit and we cook, well, mostly I'm cooking for my group, and I listen to them talking in the living room, and I'm in the kitchen, and they're always asking if I need help, and it's like I realize I enjoy this. It gives me so much pleasure, and I was having a conversation with a couple of my guests on just a few days ago about this, and I said what I think and why I say I want to do these things is because it reminds me of my culture and growing up, and it is the key to a softer life, right? But it's like when I grew up, that's what we did, right? It's a part of our culture to feed people and to gather and to talk and enjoy an amazing meal and flavorful and laugh. And I have so many memories about these things. Every Sunday, my mom made amazing dinners. She's still making dinners, and she loves cooking too. And I know that this is a part of my DNA. And so for me, this is kind of the bud, the opening, the flower thing that is opening in my life, that I see. Here's the seed, here's where it started, here's where I wasn't afraid to talk about my existence in public, in terms of my life in public, because I was a little hesitant to get on and start talking about, oh, I live in Mexico, and I should I be worried about sharing so much and blah, 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 blah. The point is that it's led to all the things, and it's been a beautiful experience. And now I feel like, what exactly is it about this that makes me kind of want to just keep doing it and adding on and doing more and extending like more things? It's that thing that I grew up around. Jamaicans love to congregate. They love to eat. They have good food. They love to share. It's like come one, come all. And, that's what I grew up around. I remember there was a woman in our church, Sister Henry, God rest her soul. She's passed, and she cooked her butt off, okay? My mother, my aunts, the people in my family can cook, and I was always around this kind of like setting where it would be like this little tiny kitchen, and everyone's piled into it, and we just had an amazing, dinner all the time, food all the time, flavorful, and it was just something. And so I think that that's a part of what really makes me feel excited to share, and it reminds me of that. And when I see people talking, happy, laughing, and they're eating, and they're just, they start eating, they're quiet, and I'm like, I hope they like it. And I'm like, okay, they're quiet because they like it. It's just one of those things that just really reminds me of where I come from, and that I can do it here in this place. And it's work, and it's experience, and I just really hope that all of the journeys that I'm a part of, that it really is something that people will remember, and it just makes the whole thing worthwhile. And so although soft life in some definition is kind of like kicking back and kind of not doing a whole lot, that's not my case. But I enjoy what I do, and I know that everyone has a different definition of what it is for them. But for me, this is the community that I can lean on, creates more of a softer existence, because it wasn't soft life in the US. It's softer here. I create a soft landing experience. But we all have different things that we do. And if you're not retired, you know, that you can come here and you can get the support. And that's really the key of what I wanted to focus on, is the community, the support, getting the help, it's affordable, all the things. So thank you. Thank you. I know, I wish I could deliver as well. Maybe AI will figure that out soon. Just kidding. Anyway, does anyone have any more questions? I can't believe I've been chatting so much for an hour and 25 minutes. If you have any questions, now's your chance while I pour some mineral water into my white wine. I want to water it down because I need to stay focused. I have lots of work to do when I get off of here. I'm going to get some stuff done. If you don't have any questions, let's see, Michelle. Oh, thank you. Hi, Iona. Yes, I love to feed people. Yes. And our souls. I love you guys. Oh, what I want to say to the ladies, I'm going to grab this little piece of paper. Yes, I'm cooking Caribbean food. No, I don't make roti, but guess what? Give me a recipe and I will try. I love roti. I have never tried to make it. I used to, so not I, my family, when I was growing up, we used to have missionaries from Guyana sometimes that would come and stay at our house. And I remember Myrna, and I forgot her sister's name, Chandri. I think that was her name, Chandri. They used to make roti, and man, ooh, so good with some curry. Now, that's something I want to try. I just don't know where to buy those split peas. I like the ones that have the split peas in it. So what I wanted to share also, and I should have had the link for this, but you can find it on Casa Elm's event page, is on September, I believe it's the 9th. I'm just going to look it up on my phone. We're going to be having a, hold on a second. I got Castle. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. On, I think it's the 9th of September. For those who've been here following me, if this is your first time, welcome again. Don't forget to hit the like button. Everyone who's watching, please hit the like button. Just press that button, it's real quick. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so to my channel. Okay, so on June 29th of this year, we had an amazing art exposition here, and all the things you see behind me were created by local women, Mexican women, and their stories. Beautiful, right? They worked with Gabby and Gabriela. She is a psychotherapist, and she works through art therapy. I'll even show you her book, which is in Spanish, but this is her book, right? Art therapy. It's really cool. It's great for children. So what I wanted to say is that we are going to be repeating her art workshop for women. I have to specify it's for women, all women. And it will start here on September. Yeah, it's a 9-week art therapy workshop using photography and embroidering. It's absolutely incredible. Like, these women, the pieces they created, if you go back into my channel, and you can see the video and the talk that I did with Gabby about it. Gabby's also Mexicana, and it's starting September 14th, okay? And it's gonna go through, it's 9 weeks, so we'll meet every week on the dates that you see, and during that session, we're going to basically create art, and it's going to be with her. She's going to be the one facilitating this. So it's an in-person and or virtual. Some of the sessions will be here, but not all, because Gabby actually lives in another state, and she's going to come here, I think, for the first 1 or 2 weeks, and then in between she'll come, but we'll always have the virtual session. Can I just tell you, like all these pieces that you see, these are just like two small ones, but the details, like, just give me a second. I'm going to show you the details. Okay. I didn't plan on talking about this. Please let me know if you can hear me because I just unplugged and plugged. Okay, so these pieces are so incredible because they really are based on your personal stories, ladies. It's a way of kind of reclaiming your space. So if you go to the link, you can see, and I just released this. We already had someone sign up, and I know there are people who are directly signing up through her, but she's a therapist with 20 years of experience. And basically, as a woman, this is a project that is inspired by her and allows a transformative journey of self-discovery. And now she helps other women reclaim their identity in space. And as a member of La Siempre Vivas, it's a collective of women affected by femicide here in Mexico. However, that's not the focus, but the idea was to basically take the grief of life in general and the protest that the women that created in this group, but to do it in an artistic way, right? So this is anything. It's like anything that is about your story that you want to share. And it's so beautiful, okay? So I'm going to show this to you because, I mean, there's so many pieces. I remember I started with 28 pieces and we sold 4, but I don't know if you can see that. All the details. So this is all like embroidering, and like there's the heart, because a lot of it has to do with the heart. These are, probably relatives, maybe someone whose family was lost, representing yourself as maybe a child or whatever, and their stories. And it's weeks of work and just incredible pieces. I mean, this is a smaller piece. I have pieces that are almost the size of this piece of art. That wasn't a part of it, that was already here. But the pieces are just so beautiful. So if it's something that sounds interesting to you, it's going to be with her counseling. You're going to buy, the canvas, and she's going to tell you how to do everything. I'm actually going to do it. I have done her workshops, not this one in particular. She facilitates my Piece Not Pieces retreat, and she does a similar thing, but it's like a one-day thing. This is actually 9 weeks, and I think it's an extremely, incredibly moving, soul-searching experience that you can be a part of if it's something that's of interest to you. So please check it out. You can learn more about her on her Instagram page, and just, search her name on IG. And the dates are here, the cost is here, and you can join us if you'd like. So I wanted to share that because I just posted that this week and I'm very, very excited about it. Yvonne is talking about, do you have your church finger up? You are in a bad girl. Wait to visit. Oh, okay, thank you. Can't wait for you to visit. Black Blossom. Okay, we won't get too deep into Black Blossom. No, it's not sold out yet, but ladies, feel free to check us out. Let me get the link. So many things going on. I try not to over convolute, but I'm gonna share the link. Black Blossom is happening next year in March, and this is going to be with my co-host, Tracy Collins. So please sign up. If it sounds like something that you're interested in, you can get to it at this link. We have 4 spaces left. That's it, right? We've already sold a bunch of other spaces. We sold in a week. We had people jump in. And so, yes, please sign up for Black Blossom. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff next year. We met with someone yesterday who will be kind of coordinating and helping us get together the ideas we have. We're planning on doing El Chepe train through, I want to say, gosh, why can't I? Okay, there's a canyon, like a Grand Canyon, but it's not Grand Canyon. It is Copper Canyon. That's it. In Mexico, that is so breathtaking. I did this trip with Micah, for those who follow me, you already know. And it was a 9-hour train ride that was just so magnificent. And I am going to get on that train again. So that's one of the things that we will be doing, but it'll be towards the end of next year. But for the beginning of next year, we're going to have our women's retreat, travel and talks. And so you can check us out there. It's going to be amazing. I'm very much looking forward to that as well. And that will be with Tracy Collins. And if you go to our Facebook page, you can join the group, Black Blossom. And also you can sign up here, register to get our newsletters, updates, and things like that. So yes, Copper Canyon, thank you. I wanted to say something else because I feel like there's another name for it. The train is El Chepe train, not cheap, because when I first heard that, I thought they were saying El Chepe like cheap, and I was like, why would they call it a cheap train? I don't get on a cheap train. Anyway, it's El Chepe. It is magnificent, okay? And it's all the way in Chihuahua, which is really far from here, but that's what we're gonna be doing in December. And you could potentially see snow. So that's the part that was super appealing for me and my son. And we went, not last December, but the December before. Carol, hi, I'll be there October. I was thinking about joining weeks or so, or is the price? Yeah, the price is for 9 because it's a whole project. And there's steps and layers where like maybe the first 1 or 2 classes are with, counseling and talking about our things and what we want to create, the different things that are going to be really focused on heart. And it's not heart like in, Valentine's Day or anything. It's heart as in you and, all the arteries that make us all connected in some way. And the things that we need to repair about our lives and how it affects us. And so that's the point. And can I just say, it is some of the most healing experiences I've had. And I say that it's not just about a relationship thing. It really is about a female reclaiming, acknowledging, seeing, going really soul searching, very deep below the surface of, your day-to-day things. And I found that the therapy in even just my retreats have been so healing, sitting and getting in this kind of creative zone of tuning out all the things, all the noise, and getting down to the creativity that's inside of all of us and the things and what resonates, like what do I want to put on this canvas? What do I want to do? So it is a 9-week situation. Bye, Jose. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you hit the like button, subscribe, join us again. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate you. So yeah, it's just something that I think, it's really a beautiful experience. And if it's something you want to do, please register, but be ready to commit to it. We're going to do recorded sessions, so if you miss something, you can always get a link to watch it, but it's going to be very beautiful creating these things. And once it's all said and done, for those who live here and who want to maybe come here physically, we will have another art show at Casa Elm with all these pieces. And as you can see, there's like a piece over there. It's a little dark over there, but the whole room is full of pieces of art, the whole house actually. So there's pieces on this floor, outside, in the main part of the home, and upstairs, and it's just really so beautiful to be surrounded by that. You can see the video on my channel. That's it, ladies and gents. I am going to get going because I've been chatting for a minute. So if you don't have any more questions, if you do, please drop them in the chat. Don't forget to like again, go to my website if there's anything there that you want to see or learn about upcoming events. Please go to my website and sign up, join us. And if you just need help with stuff, whether it's starting a business or consultation, you want to move here, you want to travel, you can book a session as well. Some people will say it's so expensive. And I'm like, not really, because, we're going to say, I'm going to save you money in regard to moving and exploring and living abroad. You will save a lot more. You will. Thanks, Yvonne. You enjoy your evening too. Thank you all so much for being here. Ciao, ciao. Have a good night.